What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NFL Week 15 Millionaire Maker. These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. Okay guys, this is for the Millionaire Maker slate, which is the Sunday main slate at 1 p.m. Oh, and stick around to the very end of this video. After I show you all my picks in the Draft Dashboard tools, I'll show you these players in DraftKings and in FanDuel, the Millionaire Maker slates. There'll be 2 spots open that you'll have to fill in, but you'll have a great Millionaire Maker core. Okay guys, NFL Week 15, let's take a look at the quarterback position. So my Millionaire Maker quarterback is Tom Brady from the Tampa Bay Bucks playing the Atlanta Falcons, who have the 6th worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Tom Brady has averaged 21.4 fantasy points per game on the season. He's going to be about 5% owned, projected at 22.5 fantasy points here in Week 15. And he's $6,600 DraftKings salary and $1,300 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks there's going to be 50.5 points scored in this game, with the Tampa Bay Bucks favored by 6.5. So he's got a fantastic matchup. This is a must-win game for the Tampa Bay Bucks, who are on the bubble trying to get into the playoffs. And they got a great matchup here, a high-scoring game. Tom Brady is an excellent quarterback under pressure. I think he steps it up in this game and has a monster 4-touchdown game. So I like Tom Brady here versus the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, let's take a look at the running back position. I'm not going to mess around at the running back spot this week. So my Millionaire Maker running back is Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans playing the Detroit Lions, who have the 2nd worst defense overall, and they give up the absolute most fantasy points to opposing running backs. Derrick Henry has averaged 22.2 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 22.9 rush attempts per game and 2.2 pass targets per game. He scored 39, 7, and 42 fantasy points in the last 3 weeks, off of 26, 15, and 27 rush attempts. So monster volume, monster production. He's going to be about 15% owned, projected at 22.9 fantasy points here in Week 15, and he's $5,900 DraftKings salary and $700 more on FanDuel. Vegas thinks the Tennessee Titans are going to be ahead by 10.5 points in this game, so it's a running game script, pretty much the best running back matchup on the slate. So I like Derrick Henry here versus the Detroit Lions. Real quick guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all the tools for NFL. NBA is right around the corner. This is a great time to get in and try everything for 1 month. The tools are all about saving research time. You can see the last 3 games, the fantasy points per game, the targets they got per game, so you can see how involved they are in the offense, the rushes they got per game. Seeing all this stuff on one screen helps you save time and make better picks. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups. Okay, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. My Millionaire Maker wide receiver is Mike Evans from the Tampa Bay Bucks playing the Atlanta Falcons, who have the 6th worst defense overall, and they give up the 2nd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Mike Evans has averaged 14.6 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 6.6 pass targets per game. He scored 9, 20, and 16 fantasy points in the last 3 games, off of 5, 9, and 9 pass targets. He's going to be about 6% owned, projected at 13.3 fantasy points here in Week 15. He's $6,500 DraftKings salary and $600 more on FanDuel. So we know Vegas thinks there's going to be 50.5 points scored in this game, with the Bucks favored by 6.5. Excellent matchup here for Mike Evans. Now you could also go with Chris Godwin. Kind of a coin flip between these two wide receivers as to who's going to get more targets, who's going to get in the end zone. But I like Mike Evans here versus the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, moving on to the tight end position. My millionaire maker tight end is Rob Gronkowski. Yes, I'm going to stack the wide receiver and the tight end with Tom Brady. Rob Gronkowski, he's averaging 9.4 fantasy points per game on the season, getting an average of 4.9 pass targets per game. He scored 7, 20, and 5 fantasy points in the last 3 games off of 2, 7, and 6 pass targets. He's going to be about 7% owned. He's on the field for 78% of the snaps, and he's projected at 8.8 fantasy points here in week 15, and he's $4,200 DraftKings salary and $2,100 more on FanDuel. So we know Vegas thinks this is going to be a high-scoring game. Great matchup for Rob Gronkowski. So if I think Tom Brady is going to throw 4 touchdowns this week, I want to stack at least 2 of his pass catchers here versus the Atlanta Falcons. Excellent matchup, must-win game for the Bucks. Tom Brady's going to step it up this week, so I like Rob Gronkowski here versus the Atlanta Falcons. If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. You've unlocked the bonus content. Okay guys, here we are in the DraftKings Lineup Optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here, and we've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, Kenyon Drake, T.Y. Hilton, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Rob Gronkowski, Russell Gage, and the Cardinals defense. I love this lineup. I like Kenyon Drake versus the Philadelphia Eagles. The Arizona Cardinals could blow out the Eagles. Kenyon Drake could get a ton of work in this one. And I like playing the Cardinals defense along with the running back. And then we have Russell Gage from the Atlanta Falcons as a run back to our Tampa Bay stack. And CeeDee Lamb, he's priced way down. We need to find some cheap players because we got Derrick Henry in there. So he fits the bill. So I like this lineup. I'm going to save it so I can optimize it later. Okay guys, here we are in the FanDuel Lineup Optimizer. Over here on Draft Dashboard, we have our Millionaire Maker core locked in here. We've generated a lineup. So let's see who we got. We got Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, J.K. Dobbins, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Corey Davis, Rob Gronkowski, Christian Kirk, and the Cowboys defense. Now, this lineup's kind of hard to build because Tom Brady, Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, and even Rob Gronkowski, those guys all take up quite a bit of salary. So we had to pay down at running back in our running back 2 spot here. J.K. Dobbins, he scored 13 fantasy points in the last 2 games, and now he has a fantastic matchup versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going to be about 9% owned, so I don't mind that play. I think he's a good running back play this week. Then we have Terry McLaurin versus the Seattle Seahawks. He's going to be about 9% owned. We have Corey Davis, who we've seen has big 20-plus point upside. He's kind of a boom or bust player, but he busted last week, so maybe he's going to boom this week versus the Detroit Lions. And then we have Christian Kirk. He's only going to be about 7% owned. He hasn't done much lately, but he is on the field for almost 90% of the snaps, and he's got 20-plus point upside. And the Cowboys defense, versus that struggling San Francisco 49ers offense. So I like this lineup. I'm going to save it so I can optimize it later. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smiggity smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NFL slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again, and good luck.